Hello, everyone, and welcome to Dungeons and Dragons and Science. Stop laughing at me. This is my serious introduction. Yes, we are back for another series of epic adventures on the world of Braxigantu. This is the show where we all play Dungeons and Dragons and kind of talk about science because we're all professional science nerds. My name is Shamini. I use she/her pronouns in the show. I'm playing Tenebris, a drow, except everyone's human for sci-fi reasons. And when I'm not doing that, I do science video journalism. Bates.
Hey, I'm Bates, otherwise known as Emily, and I also use she/her pronouns, and I also make science videos during the day. In the show, I play Infinite Skies 6000, who is a druid droid.
Hi, my name's Simon, and I'm incredibly hot right now. I use he/him pronouns, and I play Uriel, who is a monk and the tank of the group. My brain is starting to break down, I will not lie.
It's very hot.
Certain proteins are denaturing as I speak in my body.
You can feel them go.
It is very warm, and I should have said also, if you're watching this video version, hello, there might be some slight struggling going on. We're not quite sure why, but apologies if the video gets choppy at any point.
We don't think
you
it's
can
our
always
end.
listen to us on the podcast.
If we have a podcast.
Yeah. And who was that dulcet other voice that we heard who hasn't introduced themselves yet?
What? Another voice?
Who could that be? This is the voice of
Ooh, I'm so excited already.
your narrator.
Please
My name's
don't.
Ali. I use he/him pronouns. I am also a science bard of various kind, and I am the DM for this campaign. And with that sterling intro, roll intro!
Roll intro!
Roll intro!
Live.
Welcome to the world of Braxigantu. Now, what had just happened? Where did we leave our intrepid adventurers? So, after arriving in a mining colony in the foothills of the Mukinchi Mountains, our three adventurers had taken on a secret job from the forewoman of the colony. And what they were tasked with doing was finding...
There was only one woman, wasn't there?
Yes, the forewoman of the colony. And they were tasked with finding and dealing with a smuggling problem in the mine. Now, after talking to a few characters, checking out the local nightlife, they were accosted by a brawny individual outside the bar who seemingly took issue with their mission. The party dealt with him pretty summarily and found some interesting items on his person, and then spent the night in a broken down colony pod in the borders of the camp called the Roach Motel. And it is here that we find the party, late in the morning, waking up after their long rest, the rains of the night gone, and the sun beating down on the ceiling of the colony pod. You wake, all of you. I think it was... Isn't it Infinite Sky? You were taking watch?
Yeah, I did the last watch. Yeah.
So you watch as the sunlight creeps in and forming through the door and throws the shape of the door across the metal of the colony pod. You hear the noises outside, the sound of massive motors being started, shouting in the distance. And as your companions wake, you look around and see that you are alone. That your fellow roaches have left around the cinders of the burnt-out fire. You look up, and you hear the sound of someone clearing their throat. Stood in the doorway is Sandy. Sandy Clenchfist.
Sandy's back!
Sandy!
Hey, I remember Sandy.
Her arms are crossed, and she taps her foot.
Was Sandy the bar
Scramble
person?
up. No, Sandy was the person who initially rescued us from the first fight and then took us to see the Forewoman.
Yeah.
Tenebris, sort of clocking who it is and associating Sandy at some level with employer, is going to sort of scramble up, brush herself down, and try and like look smart and attentive like a good employee.
Sandy, seeing you stand, gives you an appraising look, and then looks at your two companions, one of whom is sat on the ground, the other one who is slumped still in a ball by the embers of the fire.
I'll stand up too.
I'll shake Uriel. Uriel, wake up!
Oh god, I stand in such an uncomfortable position. Ah!
Oh dear, are you okay?
Yeah, I think I just heard birds. Am I having a stroke? No, it's birds. There's birds.
The birds! There are birds here.
Hello, Sandy.
Sandy is here to see us.
Yes, I am here to see you. Specifically, I'm here to have a report on your status, on your progress with your little job. I assume you've made some fairly serious headway given the waves you've been making.
We haven't found any fossils yet, but we've got some leads. There's a forest that we're going to check out to look for some fossils.
Uriel, no.
This is not
Sandy
secret.
knows.
This is not the cover story. Real story.
Oh, I'm so bad.
You see Sandy's brow furrow for a second, and then move her gaze away from you towards Tenebris.
Yes, serious headway we have made. We have identified so far a key figure who we believe is involved in smuggling.
Yes.
And have you apprehended this figure?
We have not yet formulated a plan as to how to proceed.
Well, we do believe that there will be a meeting.
10:30 tonight, we think.
Plot B, which we found a map. And I'll get out the map that I took from the guy we beat up.
She reaches out her hand, takes the map, examines it. Her eyes flick up back to you, Infinity. This is your progress. You have a barely scrawled map of the mine that we told you to investigate at the beginning. A riotous commotion where you appear to have knocked out a member of the camp, and the word on the street is that Reeve is somehow involved in some sort of operation. This is your progress.
Yes.
Also, name of smuggler who we will go and find. Smuggler.
And time when they will be at the location.
And who is this smuggler?
That would be Ronak Light Pounder.
At the mention of the name Raunak Light Pounder, a shadow flits across her features. Her brows furrow for a second, and you see her unconsciously bite her lower lip. Raunak. That slippery character. She catches herself, pulls herself together. Well, I would say you've got your work cut out for you then.
Well, hang on. You did the face thing there that sort of indicated you knew something. What can you tell us about Raunak?
Far be it from me to do your job.
But
let me tell you.
Oh, you could help us.
She waits for you to finish.
Ali
A
waits
foot
for you to
tapping.
finish.
Raunak is not a man to be trifled with. We've had our problems with him in the past. But let me tell you something, he's not a clever individual. He's not witty. He's not the sort of man who we would normally have an issue with. If he's doing something, then it's something different. I'll tell you this. I cannot be involved, or be seen to be involved, or be seen to be anywhere near you. But you need to make it to the mine as quickly as you can. Because I've heard stories that Raunak has been seen. Seen in our mine. Not 2-3 days ago. A man specifically banned from there, told never to set foot there again. But if you seek to take him on, you'll need your wits about you.
Why was he banned from the mine?
The man is a thug, and a criminal, and a usurper of the good people who work here.
Did you not suspect he was part of the smugglers before?
Raunak is a blunt instrument. He's not one normally, but operating as part of a larger team, the sort of thing that a smuggler might attempt to do. So if he's involved with this, something has changed.
Interesting.
Do not worry, we will be right off. Off to hunt the fossils. That is our cover story, if anyone asks, by the way. Off to hunt the fossils in the ground right now. Thank you.
The archaeologists.
Very well. May I suggest, there is only one road to the mine. In fact, there is only one road, period, and it goes to the mine. That'll take you the best part of a day to walk there. Maybe longer, depending. However,
Go.
there are trucks that go from the colony and travel there that would take you there much faster. But beware, if you should be spotted as the outsiders that you are, something may befall you on that trip. And she turns and leaves.
Okay. We should get on a truck then.
I think we should hide on a truck by the sounds of it.
Hiding is the key word.
Hide on truck.
Yeah.
Sneak. Sneak to truck. We should have done this in the middle of the night when it was dark. Sneak to truck. Jump into truck. Hide in truck.
Maybe if we tucked ourselves in and wrapped our arms around our legs, they might think we're boulders.
Yes. Maybe.
You do not look like a boulder to me.
Well, I mean, not like this, but if I do this, and I'll go into like a tuck position, and like hug my knees and then stick my sleeves just like my bald head on top. Do I look like a boulder now?
And I drew a craft of flower and put it on his head so that he's got a look. It's like, now you look like you've got a flower growing out.
This bit could be maybe some kind of marble, maybe like limestone here. I don't know. It's
What kind of flower have you druid crafted?
A buttercup.
A tiny buttercup
Tiny
on the huge bald head of this robed man. Yes, it's lovely.
Do I like butter?
Well,
how good are you at sneaking and hiding and pretending to be rock?
Or
okay. I think
I'd say I'm pretty good at not being seen.
I can do this, and I change my screens to be like, it still has to be clouds, but like they're grey clouds, so like a bit closer to a rock than the like stars.
So it's not
That
full
is
chameleonic.
great.
It's chameleonic in environments that look like weather.
Yeah, but grey. I'm just very grey right now.
In
Yeah.
fog, you could completely disappear.
As
So
you
can anyone,
talk,
because it's fog.
you
but-
hear the sounds of activity outside. You hear the rumble of engines and shouting, and then the sound of wheels crunching their way in to the base.
And did we see where the trucks were kept overnight? As in, they're coming into the base now, so they must have been like, parked outside somewhere. Is that the idea?
Just to remind you, it is quite late on in the morning. You slept until 11.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Fine. It's like 11 a.m. So this is could be even their second visit or. All right. Okay. Can I peek out the door? So Tenebris very casually is just going to lean out and work out what is between us and the truck. Sort of past the truck that we could look like we were going somewhere, how many people there are and on which sides, who's sort of looking at the truck. I want to plot a route.
Right. This is a complicated one. It's not just a simple perception check. I would say if what you're looking at is trying to work out a route, trying to plot a route, let's make it a straight...
Actually, what Tenebris does is casually lean out the door. What's the weather like?
You know, because I did my weather forecast.
What I mean is it direct sunlight right now? Is there sun?
It is sunny.
Okay, and then I'm just gonna wince and come back in. And just
Are you okay, Tenebris?
Yep, okay, it's bright outside. Someone else just, Infinity, will you look and,
yes.
Look, but look really hard.
What am I looking for?
Roots. We have to get to the truck casually.
Roots like a plant?
No, not the plant roots. Roots like a pathway.
Oh, right, yes, okay. I will look out and try and see a good route to get to the truck.
Infinity,
Half variety, not...
You slide your head out of the door, peeking around. You see in front of you, in the daylight now, the camp is well lit. You can see that the colony pods between you and the main road, the only road, are quite sparsely placed. This seems to be a slightly less dense part of the camp. You can see that there are lots of different ways that you could go through between the colony pods to find your way to the road. Where the truck is parked, what you see is one truck standing in the centre of the colony, in front of a large blocky warehouse. Behind that warehouse you see silos, so big containment tanks, and you can see that there's activity going on. There's figures scurrying around the side of the truck. What exactly are you trying to work out?
I am trying... So there's a lot. I'm trying to see the most hidden route, like shadows ducking behind silos or cabins, whatever the best route for us to get there without potentially being noticed.
Make an intelligence check.
Just straight intelligence.
Yeah, straight intelligence.
14.
14. You scan the scene. You're just thinking about how you could blend into the background. Not necessarily about what the other people themselves are concentrating on. You see the shadows. The sun is high in the sky, and the shadows are dark, black almost. Because we're approaching midday, the shadows are not long. They look as though they might... Maybe you could fit one person in that shade. And there is shadow behind all of the colony pods leading up to the truck. The shadow of the warehouse is much larger. What you do notice in terms of the busyness is that there are definitely a huddle of people working between the truck and the warehouse. There do not appear to be any people on the other side of the truck that you can see. Okay. Movers is shut. There's no other activity in the camp, as far as you can tell.
So is there a way we could go out the other direction and sort of loop around to reach the other side of the truck?
You can certainly try.
Thanks, Ali.
I love that tone of voice.
Great. I'll go back in. So there aren't really very many shadows because the sun's quite high up, but we could try and loop round the back maybe to get to the other side of the truck where there seems to be less activity.
I think maybe while we are going there to that side, we do not try and walk on tiptoe looking around like we are suspicious. I think we be
just
very
walk.
casual. And then for the last part, we try and make sure no one spots us actually going towards the truck.
People in the camp know we're here. They just got to not know that we're going up there.
But if they are interested in us, they will be watching. So that is probably.
Okay, well, so confident
Act casual. Got it.
to the other side of the road, maybe a little hide, then a hide onto the truck.
Yes. Where in truck can we fit in back? Is it
Joe?
open?
I'll peek my head out.
Yeah, what
again.
kind of truck is it? Is it like a covered truck or a big dumper?
Yeah, what does the truck look like?
Roll a perception check.
Me.
I thought this was Infinity
Oh, yeah.
doing it again.
This is me. Let this one. Oh, I didn't roll well though.
He said
5
me.
plus 6
That was
is
clearly I should roll.
11.
Whoever's looking.
11. With an 11, you can see that it's an open flatbed truck, but it is massive. The size of this thing is just... It's huge. You can see that the cab of the truck is a good 4 meters above the ground. These massive 2 meter wide wheels, huge, and that there is only one of these trucks currently in the camp. And the one that's there looks a little different from the ones that you saw last night. There are symbols, pictures, graffitied all across it. It looks like it's been done with care to make this truck stand out.
Well, it's very big and it's got some lovely pictures on it, but it might be quite noticeable.
And this is the only truck.
This is the only truck in the camp at the moment.
Okay,
think
let's
we
just do some mental maths a second. So it takes about a day to walk to the mine, and we would have approximately 12 hours to get there before the meeting. So, how do we think the truck goes at double walking speed?
More than
Yeah,
that, let's say.
Right.
At least.
And if how much more than that? Because I'm trying to work out, should we wait for a more inconspicuous truck to turn?
Why is the
Will there
truck
be
being
another truck?
conspicuous relevant? The truck being conspicuous.
fact that
on the
it's-
outside
We don't care if
doesn't-
people notice the truck as long as
Yeah,
they don't
people know
notice
what the
us
truck
on
looks
it.
But if it's a special kind of truck, it might get special treatment at the other end. Like,
I think that the person who owns this truck is well into their truck and have drawn pretty pictures on their truck. I would say we hold that in our back pocket. We get up there. If someone spots us and it's the driver, we
Threaten the
tell
truck.
them how nice their pretty
Oh.
pictures
Yes,
are,
I agree to
and
know.
hope that. Oh,
we hold the
right,
truck
no, I
ransom. We'll
Sorry.
say we'll chip the
Sorry,
paintwork.
this should be in character. Sorry.
We could have this conversation again.
Yes.
And we did.
Good,
Well
good
done.
question, Bates. Good point. Thank you. Yes. I think we should try sneaking. If it doesn't work, then we try saying, "Hello, can we have lift, please? We like your truck."
Okay, let's give it a go. I don't think it's worth waiting for another truck.
I don't think so.
Okay.
After
Yeah,
that
I do.
discussion we did not just have.
If they're not very nice, you know, sometimes people quite like me sometimes. So I can try something.
Of course they will.
Right, let's go.
Explain
Casual.
to me the first part of this plan. What are you doing?
We're going. Sorry, just seeing Sharmany's goggles.
I need to have my goggles on because it's very sunny. So I
Oh,
need to sun protection, very important for eyes.
So I'm going to leave and turn away from where all the people are and try and loop round and take everyone around the back of the warehouse. But we're just walking like we're going somewhere.
Very casual. I am so
Yeah.
casual.
So casual to the other side of the road, but not right up next to the truck. Just.
Can I get a performance check from all of you, please?
Oh,
Do I still have the buttercup on my head? Do I look like a Pikmin?
Does he get a +1 because he has a buttercup on his?
Disguised as a flower. Who walks through camp. I did well.
If I stay
rolled quite
perfectly
well.
still, they will
Which is
think
good,
I'm
so
a
I got a
flower.
-1. I got a 16.
I got an 18.
I got a -2, 15.
We did well.
For us, that's
Pretty
really
good rolls
Yeah,
there.
for us, yeah.
It won't last.
You
could be
stride out confidently, the three of you. You take in the sights, you promenade around the camp. What a glorious day! How lovely to finally arrive in Val. You take a moment, one foot up on a rock, look out at the trees, breathe in the air. You continue your walk, chatting amongst yourselves, looking out of the side of your eyes to see if anybody's watching.
Not the front.
And if any... Definitely not the front of the eyes.
You can see more if it's just off the video, so...
And if people were looking at you, they are not looking at you now. It's almost as though the aggressive nonchalance with which you're walking has just annoyed them to the point that they don't want to even engage with it.
Aggressively inconspicuous, like the
I
Lib
love
Dems.
aggressive nonchalance. That's brilliant.
You make your way all the way around, and now, just to be clear about the sort of setup, Movers, so the bar, is on the other side of the warehouse. So you have now made your way all the way around to the back of Movers. You are behind Movers. In front of Movers is the road in which sits this truck with the engine idling. And then on the other side of that is the warehouse, and between the warehouse and the truck, there's a lot of activity still going on.
Can I just have a quick... I'm not going in and nosing around, but can I just see what I can see on the outside of the bar? If there's anything unusual.
Any
The
good
outside of the
graffiti?
bar.
Any more good graffiti, right?
Well, not
Good
so much, but like I'm looking for... I don't know if there's delivery that's been put around the back or any kind of...
Any loot boxes.
Yeah,
Make an investigation check.
that's a nat one.
Excellent. For a total of...
Oh, God. Hang on, investigation.
1. It's
Oh,
gotta be
2.
1.
So it's a +1.
It all counts. But not really. Not in this case. So,
If it was negative, I would be hurt by trying to look at the building.
you're so caught up in this unaccustomed feeling of getting away with a piece of performance, Uriel, that you, despite yourself, you're enjoying it. You like this feeling of acting,
Yeah.
so-called acting, and you think,
I'm a flower.
you know, I'll break character just to see what I can see. But really, deep down, you don't really want to. You still want to be this nonchalant man. No, this nonchalant individual, I'm sorry. So you cast a quick look at the back of the bar. It's shaded. There doesn't seem to be anything out of the ordinary. There's a couple of what look like old kegs, but that's all you see.
Okay. So there's so the way you just described it, there's activity between us and the truck now.
No.
We've gone around the other side, right?
Yes, you are behind Movers. There's no activity between Movers and the truck. It's on the other side of the truck the activity is.
Infinity, do you think we can climb up the back into the truck?
Look. Does it look like we could climb up the back into the truck?
Well,
Or climb up
the wheels
wheel?
are roughly 2 meters, it seems. Above that, it's about 3 meters up the side of the flatbed container, and you can't see what's on the top of the truck or in the container. In terms of whether it would be easy to climb, from this distance, you can see that it's dented, it's pockmarked, there might be handholds, but you can't quite tell from this distance.
Do you think Infinity? Shall we try?
Should we try and maybe make a distraction in another place?
There is no one looking here, I thought. They are all other side. What will
That's true,
distraction
that's true.
help?
Okay. Let's get closer and see if... Because there might be people inside the truck.
Let us go close and listen.
Listen. Yes. We'll get closer.
The
And
gang
we'll listen.
sneaks up,
So,
puts their
yeah.
ear
No,
to
no,
the...
now-
just like casual walking. Just walking
No, I think
closer.
now we should. I think
Oh,
we
now
should stealth right up to the truck. I think we should stealth. No, that's
Okay,
not
yes.
the thing.
Sorry,
that I-
sorry.
I think it's time to roll stealth check.
Yes. I think we should not let anyone see us go to the truck, and we should go and hide in the shadow of the truck.
Okay, let's do that.
Then listen out and see.
Excellent. So you're going to sneak up to the truck and hide in the shadow of the truck.
Yes.
Right. The shadow of the truck falls on the other side.
Well, next to truck.
However,
Nothing against truck.
there is space between the wheels. This is a big truck. There are 8 wheels on each side. It's a 16-wheeler. You could get into the shadow underneath the truck. That would be possible.
Good starting point.
Yeah.
Very well.
Keeping ear out for truck starting and to go forward.
Can you all roll stealth for me, please?
Yes, we can.
Oh god, guys.
Oh! So I went Ness then. That's a 20 from me. Artificial.
Good. Well done. Well done, you.
I've got a 17.
I've got an 11. I've got 10.
Keeping to the shadows around the side of Movers, you sneak forwards through the grass. You feel the soft wind from the mountainside over your skin. You listen out, you hear the chatter of people working on the other side. Oh, move it to the left, to the left. Tung, 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 tung. The sounds of rocks being dislodged and moved. The rumble of the engine of the truck. It's quite noisy. You keep as quiet as you can, the grass muffling the sounds of your footsteps. You get to the edge of the barn, you look out into the street. You see a couple of people around the edge of the truck, but they look like they're concentrated on their work. You wait for a second when there's no one at the back of the truck doing the unloading, and you scram across the 10 yards or so of dirt between you and the truck. Tenebris, you run, looking around. You make it between the wheels first, safe. It looks like no one's seen you. Uriel, behind her, looking back constantly at Infinity to see that she's all right. Infinity, you set yourself. You know how to do this. Your friends need you to do it. You run, trying to keep as stealthily as possible, trying to avoid all the little tiny mud patches, all the holes in the ground. You put one metal foot down and it slips. You balance slightly rocks and there's a hand catching you. Uriel, you take her hand and help her under the wheels. Seems like you've all made it undetected.
Oh, thank you, Uriel.
Are you alright?
Yeah, yes, I'm fine. Sorry, I'm not very good at being quiet. Really, like I'm very shiny and the screens, so they glow kind of. So
You'll adapt. You did it good this time. You'll do better next time.
thank you.
I'll assume that conversation was whispered.
Really quietly.
You did very well.
Infinity?
For the sake of levels in the podcast, spoke out loud.
Welcome to ASMRPG.
What up, everyone?
We can take the whispers for granted, I think, for now. As you're crouched there beneath the wheels, not beneath the wheels, between the wheels, beneath the bed of the truck, you smell the petrol fumes. It's hot. There's hot oil evaporating off of it. There's almost the smell of burning. The metal itself radiates heat. And you especially, Uriel, having worked with metal your whole life, you can tell this is cheap, put together quickly for a purpose. It's strong, but it is not high quality.
On that point, this is, I guess, like a point of order type thing. So we're running the different classes as sci-fi equivalents, obviously, and I'm going dwarves, like he's a dwarf monk. Normally,
So slow.
Normally you get stone cunning as a rule, which is like you get the +5 to intelligence on stonework. Do we want to count that as, for this purposes, like robotic components,
Definitely.
mechanical components? Okay.
That is an
nice.
excellent,
I
that's
like that.
excellent point.
That's great.
So, let's say because of your background and because of this particular racial feature, we'd call it in original D&D, but we're not doing races here. You have that same +5 bonus for metalwork. So any kind of metalwork you want to examine, you can get a +5 intelligence on it, yes.
I don't think it's +5 stone cunning though.
On my sheet it says +5.
Oh, but that's fine. That's just because they've added the stuff already. But that's
Right, so is that plus your original intelligence
It will change
modifier?
on your character sheet.
Okay.
I think it's double your proficiency bonus. I play a dwarf and lump.
Double
your-
+1, I think, maybe.
Yes,
Is
that
your-
would be your natural intelligence plus double your proficiency bonus.
Oh, I see. Right, yeah.
So it's +5. But when your proficiency goes up, it will increase by 2.
Nice.
This
Right,
is cheap
here you
stuff.
are.
D&D facts.
All of you crouched beneath this flatbed truck. What are you going to do?
Listen very carefully.
Infinity, maybe when there is silence, you can stick your head round back when there is no one round back and see if we can climb in from back.
Yes, if we don't hear anyone above.
Yes.
I'm listening. Scanning. Beep, beep, beep.
And you're listening for the sound of voices, people working around the truck.
Yeah, above, in the truck. So above where we are.
Right. Yeah, you hear the occasional pong, pong sound of footsteps, the sound of a flatbed being brought up, dun, 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 loaded up. Left, you hear lots of swearing, lots of people shouting at each other. God, just make sure you just load it up properly this time. My foot absolutely canned you, arsehole. I tell you what, one time on it goes. You wait for another 15-20 minutes, and you hear specifically a voice. Well, actually, roll me a perception check. See what you hear.
Can't be that bad this time. It's not 23.
You put your ear up to the actual flat of the metal, attune yourself to the vibrations within it, and you can hear the sounds of their voices actually surprisingly well. You hear one voice go, "That's the last of it, isn't it? I'm glad we don't have to do this truck again, for sure." You hear another voice, "Yeah, these people, I don't know, they flout us, innit?" And then, ka-dong, 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 ka-dong. As they leave, you hear the sound of pistons,
We have
the
to go.
screech,
We have to go. We have to go.
and the noise seems to be coming from the back of the truck. So,
Oh,
to
they're
be
closing.
clear, the back of the flatbed was down,
We go.
and it seems like it's now lifting up.
Okay, I'm gonna grab the other two. Just
Not gonna say anything.
try and like run and get out and try and climb up into the truck. Get on the
Explain to
flatbed. If it's on the floor, get on the flatbed and then try and like leap into the truck.
Right. So the flatbed, the lowered piece of the flatbed, you are going to get on that and then ride that up
Yes.
into the storage part of the truck.
Yes.
But
That's what
probably
you're
not
doing.
just stand on it riding it. Like the minute it's at a place where I can like grab on and like pull
Try
myself
and
in.
get in.
Do that. But I'm
What?
pulling those two with me.
And the rest of you follow?
Yes. Slightly alarmed, just suddenly yanked along. Like, okay.
All
We
right.
need to go right now.
Are you being stealthy?
Yeah.
half our
Like,
speed.
to the point of like,
I think we should be stealthy. I think
yeah.
that mechanical thing will take long enough that even at going half speed to be stealthy, we'll still make
Yeah.
it in time.
I agree.
We'll use your stealth rolls from before because it's not been long. And you peek your head out behind the back of the truck. The sunlight is bright. It's almost blinding off shining off the metal where it's not scored and scratched. You wait. The flatbed is slowly rising. You still hear the sound of conversations behind it. One person appears from the other side of the truck, still talking. A tall woman with stubble and long braided orange hair. She looks down at the ground. I can't believe I must have left it somewhere. I must have. Ali, you seen that? Have you seen it, Ali? looks behind the other side of the truck. You hear a muffled, right, yeah, and the woman turns around and goes back. At this point, can you all roll an athletics check to see if you can get up on top of the flatbed to get in?
Oh no.
Get on up on that thing.
Did she say the name Ali?
Yeah, Ali Thunder
Ali.
Socks.
Yeah. Okay.
What was it? Ali.
Ali
There was a
Thundersock.
character.
Yeah.
Ali Thundersock. That was a real character, wasn't it? And not
Yeah.
a meme that we made up.
Got a
Athletics.
14.
That's a
I can't remember who it
20.
was, though.
Artificial.
Ooh, look. 20.
Jesus Christ. Fucking shitholes. That's a 0. Full on. It wasn't a nat 1, if that makes it any better.
Oh wow. Okay.
Uriel, you are on up this flatbed like a rat up a drain pipe. You're in there and then into crouched stance, ready. You form a boulder, almost too boulder-like. You worry that maybe they'll come and get you, as though you've been a piece of ore that should have been taken off. Infinity, you scramble up behind him. It's a pretty easy thing to do. You've just got to lift yourself up. You both look behind you. Tenebris isn't there. Tenebris, you set yourself, raise your hands, grip onto it, and you realise you have almost no upper body strength. You clutch onto the flatbed as it lifts. You're lifted up
Oh, God.
from...
Oh, if I can I try?
And your
grab
arms are completely straight. You're just gripping onto the... and then you let go. And you fall
that? No.
into the grass below.
Do we see her fall?
You don't see her come up.
The truck's not moving though,
Yeah,
We're not
right?
going yet.
No,
We're
The
going
truck
yet.
isn't moving yet.
Tenebris. I want to like try and stick my head around the side, not in between the truck and the flatbed, just to be clear, because you will decapitate me, and I'm not having it. So like, and I just over the side and like try and Tenebris.
What are you trying to do?
See Tenebris. See where she's gone.
Oh, yes, you see her. She's lying flat on the floor.
Oh, God.
Reach my hand out.
You're like several meters up, though, right?
You are about... You're 2.5 meters up now. So with your hand, that would be about 2 meters. Your hand would come down to 2 meters from the floor.
Uriel, hold my feet.
Yes, I've waited for this.
And I'm gonna like dive down and hope that Uriel can hold me as I try and grab Tenebris.
I can reach you, but I...
Let's,
I'm gonna-
before you do anything, Tenebris,
Before you do that.
make
Oh, my God.
another athletics check. Because you're working together, we'll say with advantage. And Uriel, you're making it because you're holding on to Infinity. Make it with advantage.
I'm also going to try and
Infinity, actually, sorry, before we go on, how heavy are you?
Oh,
That's
God.
very rude.
Very pertinent is what
I
it is.
actually didn't write anything down, but
Made of metal.
metal, so quite
Got to be heavier than a
heavy. Yeah.
than a human.
I mean, she looks
I'm very light, if that
slender, but let's
helps.
say 200 pounds.
How much is that?
So heavy.
And I'm quite strong.
Let's see if you are.
That was a
Sorry, I
22.
shouldn't have said such a heavy
You
number.
really are. You feel Infinity give you her weight, and you're equal to it. You assume horse stance.
Horse.
Hands out in front, clutching the ankles, you lower her down, the sweat dripping off your brow, truly feeling like you were meant to complete this task. Infinity, you are now upside down, and you could easily reach Tenebris now if you wanted
I
to.
grab her.
I reach out. I'm grabbing Infinity. I'm also looking for footholds on the edge of the truck to kind of semi-walk myself up as I'm grabbing her.
You are hanging off the back of the flatbed, so you're basically just
we're
dangling
right off the
in
back.
air.
Oh, sorry. Okay, I thought. Okay.
Oh.
In that case, yeah, fine. I'm just going for the grab. I rolled an athletics check with advantage. I rolled the same
You
number.
do not get advantage.
Oh, I don't get advantage. Oh, they
You
got
don't.
I'm
advantage. Sorry, I misunderstood.
Ah! Yes, so explain how you help.
I hold her.
Literally
and
Right.
pulling.
Okay, yes, fine. Then advantage, that makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
So, what was...
About that,
Yeah. So I rolled the same number with advantage on both of them. The number was a 4, and I have a -2 to athletics. So that's 2, which is
You
2
are
better than last time.
Weak like a baby duckling. A baby duckling, the smallest of all ducklings. The tension of the moment has really got to you, Tenebris. You just can't. You're like linguine. Cooked linguine. The flatbed continues to rise, and Infinity, you are being pulled away from Tenebris, who just appears unable to grab onto you, and all of you hear now. The engine starts to rev.
Infinity, can you craft a plant underneath her or something?
Not really. No, I don't. Not a good one.
Yeah, like a blade of grass.
Would you like a buttercup?
As you're saying this, the flatbed continues to rise, and now it has reached the bed of the rest of the truck.
Am I still touching Tenebris?
No. You are being pulled away from her. She has just not made contact.
I'm gonna pull the cord from around my waist that I've been using as like a belt, and the robes are just gonna start flapping freely. But I'm gonna pass the one hand, take this. I'm gonna pass the cord down to Infinity.
That would involve.
No.
You would have to let go of Infinity with at least one hand to do that. Do you
Also,
want to do
I'm
that?
the problem here. The problem is that I haven't got the strength to hold on, so it's not about reaching, is it?
I
It's
thought
about,
that we couldn't reach you though.
well,
Bring me up.
probably unhelpful.
Uriel, bring me up. And then try and lasso her.
That doesn't sound safe, but I'm not there, so yeah, go for it.
As you're talking through this new lassoing plan, the flatbed,
On whip.
it reaches the point of flatness, and then it starts to go diagonal. It's becoming the back of the truck.
Truck.
It's lifting and lifting, so you are both now standing on an increasingly steep surface, having this conversation, and starting to lose sight on Tenebris.
Right, I want to lasso Tenebris. I use my belt and try and lasso Tenebris.
Let's assume that your belt is long enough to do that. Fair.
It looks long in the artwork.
Can we say, you know how most people get a rope in D&D when they start? Can we just say that his belt is his rope? And it's like super light.
Yes, you have 100 feet of belt, which you are now going to deploy as a lasso. Yeah, that's fine.
Do I get can I do this with advantage if I yeehaw while I do it?
I will.
Do you have a hat?
You have to do it
Which would
quietly. You
give
have to
you
whisper the yeehaw.
Yeehaw.
I believe in you.
Roll. This is a complicated skill challenge, which we're going to boil down to getting the knot, unless you have a background as a cattle rancher.
Can I druid craft vines to help keep the knot? Although we want it to lasso, so actually ignore that. I don't do that.
Okay.
That would be a bad lasso.
I have no experience in knots.
Excellent. Then roll me a dexterity check.
I mean, presumably, if I've been putting this thing on, taking it off all the time, I'd know how to do at least one knot. Right, dexterity check. Here it comes.
I'm not an idiot. You know how to put a bit of rope into a knot.
Artificial 20. Another one.
Nice.
On fire.
It's a +5 to that one, to be fair.
You look at the rope. You think, simple stuff. I just do this, and your fingers flick through, and you have a loop at the end. I'm not exactly sure how you did it, but it feels right, it feels taut. You have the rope. The next part of the skill challenge is quite simply, you can easily drop the rope down to Tenebris on the floor. What is harder is keeping your balance as the flatbed becomes more and more and more vertical.
Infinity, can you brace me?
Yeah, I will try and can I get? Is it possible for me to get onto the truck and brace Uriel?
You can stand in the bed of the truck and hold Uriel. Yeah, absolutely. Make a strength check. It can be athletics if you want.
Makes
You probably
no
want
difference, but it's an 18.
without issue. You set your feet and you hold your new friend, this strange monkish individual.
With his arse somewhat hanging out. You've got a great view back there.
It's like Titanic. But...
Exactly. The wind from the mountains comes down over and it's more windy up here. You're a little bit higher, and it flaps.
Oh god! And his robe is open.
It flaps everywhere, and it's like a flag. The robe, that is.
Right. Okay. Let's try and yeehaw our way out of this situation.
You can easily lower the rope unless you're trying to chuck the rope. You can definitely lower it down to Tenebris without issue.
So, I'd imagine this is like kind of throwing it down and helping her up, basically. Like, she's going to grab onto it and then I will assist her.
It's a big loop, right?
Yeah.
My understanding of the reason you have to roll a dexterity check to get the loop is because a lasso loop will close automatically.
Yeah.
My understanding is that you've done a lasso loop so that you can lasso Tenebris so she doesn't have to actually hold on to it.
I think that's
yeah.
a really good idea.
Yeah, let's do that then. So I'm going to try and...
Should not have told you that. Okay, so you lower it down. Tenebris, as it comes down,
So Tenebris has just been standing there while this has been happening, like just sort of looking around, like thinking that any minute someone is just going to come around the corner, like looking slightly panicked. At one point, just sort of like, oh, no, and then seeing this rope come down, I would like to essentially try and I'd kind of like to try and sit in it, like of all the bits of me. To be in the rope somewhere around my bum would be good. So I'm gonna try and like head through it so that I'm not holding any of my own weight on my hands. I'm just, well, I am a little bit, but only the top half of my body.
The loop comes down. You see the bald pate of your new monkish friend looking out over the top, his burly arms lowering this rope. The truck starts to judder in front of you. Exhaust in your face. It's hot. It stings your nostrils. But the rope is there. It's in front of you. You slide it onto the floor, pull it up past your legs, place your bum in it, and give it your weight. Of course, you don't know that the loop is designed to tighten, so it tightens up, trapping your waist. But you are firmly held by the rope.
Okay. I'm not being squeezed to death or anything.
No. It's not going to cut you in half.
Good.
Although,
Don't.
Right, you have Tenebris on the end of a piece of a lasso.
Just like a land anchor at this point.
And as that happens, very slowly, the wheels start to turn.
God. Pull.
And
Get out of there.
the truck starts to move forwards.
Pull the rope up.
Up you come!
I want to help him pull the rope.
When you initially described it, Ali, I thought that the noise you were making was the noise that Uriel was making. Like he was holding on going... like just with the strain of trying to hold her. Sound like a World War I general, like just indignantly reacting to something. Okay.
I'm clinging to the rope.
Come
Excellent. Well, Uriel, make an athletics check with advantage to pull Tenebris up.
on. Chat has noticed there is a positive correlation between the amount of chest hair on show and how well I'm rolling. So we'll see how this is going.
Take your shirt off at the like dramatic finale where we need the good number.
Right, okay, if this is a bad first roll, I'm just gonna have to undo another button. Hang on. Right, first roll is... Ooh! That's a 17.
Do it again. Do the other one.
And
Roll the
the
other one.
one is worse than that. We're gonna go with 17. Final answer. Bang!
You clench the rope between your padded, gnarled hands. The skin stands white out on your knuckles. You brace yourself against the back of the flatbed. Infinity beneath him. Your grip tightens on the rope. You pull, start to pull. Tenebris, you feel yourself being lifted off the floor. You're swinging slightly underneath the bed of the truck. And you're being pulled up, up, up. It's working, but it's slow going. You spin slightly as the truck starts to speed up. Dong, dong. Your head bangs against the thing. As the truck moves, you start to go past figures. The figures who have been working to unload the truck. At first, no one seems to notice you. Then, a small person, you can't tell if they're a man or a woman, completely bald,
Or otherwise.
catches sight of you and narrows their eyes. They reach out and tug the shirt sleeve of the person next to them.
Before they do that, can I just try? Just like taking one hand off the rope, being like... Can I just...
Was that even kind of intimidation?
Roll a persuasion check.
The people on the podcast, she put a finger to her lips
Yes,
in
I
a shush
did.
push.
I did, thank you. I'm very persuasive. That was a 25.
Yes.
What? Now she rolls well.
Somehow, hanging, rotating slowly in the breeze, with the exhaust clouds rising behind you, you manage to retain a sense of dignity. As you put your finger to your lips, the bald figure stops just before they grab the shirt sleeve of the person next to them. They nod in appreciation.
That's like, you've got yourselves in a fucked up situation. I'm just gonna. Your
let
day's
you
gone
deal
bad
with
enough
that.
as it is.
And as the truck starts to pick up speed, Infinity and Uriel, you manage to haul Tenebris over the lip of the truck and in to the main carrying bed. Around you rise the walls. So they're about 2.5, maybe 3 meters high, very heavily armored. And from inside, it judders. It's quite difficult to stand up. There's little bits of shards of rock. It's broad, it's deep. There's a fine mineral dust that seems to coat the inside of the cargo part of the truck. On the other end, so the end of the flatbed where the I have lost the word. Where the cab of the truck is, there is a ladder leading up out of the flatbed and onto the top of the truck.
Is there a window in the back of the cab?
You can't see from here. All you can see is the ladder. You can't see over the top of the sides of the flatbed.
Tenebris, I'm glad you made it. Could I get my belt back, please? It's quite cold. Please.
Thank you. Thank you.
God, it's alright. We've got to stick together, you know?
Yes, Uriel helped me, we helped you, so eventually we'll help you, Uriel.
Yes, well, I mean, you helped me by just being something to aspire to, but that's...
Oh, no.
I'm sure that there'll be more practical ways of helping in the future, and that would be great to know that you've got my back.
I did have your back. I held you when you were trying to lift.
Then we're all even.
As you talk, you feel the truck slowing down. And then you hear the sound of creaking, a sound that you've heard before. It's the sound of the gates of the colony opening. Some muffled shouts, and then slowly the truck begins to pick up speed again. As you stand or sit at the bottom of this flatbed, the dust is starting to be kicked up. The road is rough, and it's jolting you around. And above you, because all you can see really is the sides of these flatbeds and this rectangle of space above you where the sky is. Above you, you start to see trees. Huge treetops. And as you pick up speed, they start to whip past over the top of the flatbed. The engine is roaring now, steadily. And you're moving, not fast, but certainly a lot quicker than you would be if you'd been walking.
Uriel, would you help me? Give me a boost. I'd like to see the tree.
Oh, of course.
I just want to Like stand on.
Boulder!
Stand
You could just stand on my shoulders.
Look over the top of the flatbed if I'm tall enough to, but just try and see as much of the trees and like the world go by as I possibly can.
Absolutely. You crane your head out over the lip of the flatbed. Around you, you see the forest. Huge pillars, column-like trees, speeding past you, these massive trunks. The darkness of the forest spreading out in the space between them. The undergrowth is lush, it's thick. You can see ferns lining the forest floor. There are moments when you see corridors appear between the trees, and you see deeper into the wood, and you see dappled lighting falling down, breaking through the canopy of the tree. Where you are, it seems like there has been a cutting through the tree line. Where the road is, there don't appear to be any trees, and the light is coming in through that. So the sunlight falls on you directly now in the flatbed, but as you look between the trees, you see the dappling, you see the shafts of light piercing the canopy.
Is it coming from like directly above, so there's nowhere like in this flatbed truck to hide in a shade?
There's certainly not enough shade to try and hide in shade. The branches whip past you. The lower ones bang, pound against the top of the truck. As you're holding on, a particularly low-hanging one catches the roof of the cab and snaps off. Shards of rock rattle around inside. It's noisy, it's loud. The sound of the engine almost drowns out your thoughts. It's difficult to make yourself heard, shouting to each other above the din. And the stench of the fuel fills your nostrils. You can't smell any of the trees. You can only smell the raw engine of this truck. What would you guys like to do?
I just get after a fair few minutes. Uriel, are you okay?
Hang on. You're actually quite heavy.
Oh, sorry. I'll get up. It's just ferns were always my favourites.
So were you did plants specifically? Like what which species did you plant?
I don't know. I don't even know if this was me. It's beautiful. I hope it was.
Next time, maybe you can make a underground road, less.
Oh, I don't think I can make road. I don't think I know how to make a road.
Oh, not the
I
road.
think they must have cut down some trees that potentially I grew to make the road, but that's
It
fun.
would be better if less sun, more underground is
Sun.
Yes.
Tenebris, you, being especially attuned to the light and feeling the heavy beating of the sun on you, you suddenly sense shadow.
Yay!
But it's there for a millisecond over you.
Dragon.
Don't give him ideas.
Don't even, mate. It's like, you'll do it. Infinity, is there anything in the sky?
Look up.
Roll a perception check.
14.
You look up into the sky, the sun beating down, wispy white clouds, and a black silhouette. Small. You can see wings. You can see... Yeah, it looks like a bird. You scan your memory banks. That's what a bird looks like. Yeah.
I think there's a bird up there.
All right.
The sky looks like this, and I'll change my screens to match the sky just because I'm so happy.
Tenebra's like peering through the goggles, like avoiding looking up, like looks at Infinity's panels. It's like it is would be better if maybe more darkness.
Oh, okay. I'll make the clouds darker.
No, I mean
As-
the actual sky.
Ali, why would you put us in a baking hot environment with no shade?
As you look up to check the sky matches your panels, you see the shadow again, but it's bigger.
Oh, a bigger bird.
It's the same shape, just bigger.
Immediately, a dead bird falls into the center of the truck.
Does it appear to be circling us?
Yes.
Interesting.
As you watch it, it becomes larger
Oh,
and larger.
oh.
You run a quick scan. There appears to be no bird that you are aware of that
Albatrosses are quite large, but
Are there any birds that naturally prey on trucks?
not that I'm aware
What
of.
about bats? Where I'm from, there are bats.
As you have this conversation, you hear clang, clang, and you hear the sound, I'm going, don't worry about it, I'm going. And you hear dunk, 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 as feet come up the side of the cab. And a figure appears
Hello.
on top of the cab. Up there, all you can see is a head. It ducks down occasionally, starts busying with things. Except for you, Infinity, you look over and you can see on top of the cab there appears to be some sort of mounted weapon.
Oh,
It's quite big, and this figure is fiddling with it. As you look over, they turn, see you.
hello.
Oh God! No!
No, we're not going to hurt
you.
We just. What's that thing?
You shout to make yourself heard. It's very difficult. They don't appear to be able to hear you.
What's that?
They turn, climb all the way back down into the cab.
Oh, well, there was someone. They seemed worried, but there's a gun on the top, I think, of the truck.
I'm gonna start climbing the ladder.
All right. Without issue. As you reach the top of the ladder, Tenebris, another head pokes its way up from the cab side, followed by the muzzle of a short, nasty-looking pistol.
Oh,
Now, I don't want any fighting here. We'll deal with you after we've dealt with that.
that makes sense.
And the character points up, and you see above you a vast wingspan, an enormous bird. Huge. Looks as though it might have once been the sort of bird that humans would be familiar with, but now it's colossal. The beak, vast, knobbly, the wings stretching outside like huge light solar sails from satellites, and the claws hanging down like bulbous claws.
Ali, have you watched Reign of Fire recently, by any chance?
And you can see that, well, no, you can't see any colour because it's still silhouetted against the sun. And as you look, you hear... And that is where we will take our break.
So excited. This is amazing and I love it.
So you just tipped water all over yourself.
I can't.
Oh,
I can't.
wow.
I'm so warm right now.
Oh, Simon, go and have a cold shower in the
Everyone,
break.
Shamini has had her wig on for 90 minutes
Oh.
almost. So if you could just hold on a little bit longer,
It's so hot.
it's too darn hot.
Right. Okay. So we'll take a quick break now, and we'll play you some science checks, and then we'll be back in about 5 minutes. Go and get yourself a drink. Go and go to the bathroom or what have you, and we'll show you some science. And we'll be
Ice
right.
baths for everyone.
And we'll be right back. Okay. See you in 5, everybody.
In Dungeons and Dragons, some humanoids live for hundreds of years. But is it really possible that in the future we could live for centuries? The average life expectancy in the UK is around 80 years, provided this doesn't happen.
He stabs you. Roll initiative!
Studies suggest that the human body could live up to 150 years, provided everything went perfectly and there were zero stresses. But eventually, it would stop being able to function. So perhaps we need to look to other species in order to explain these long-lived humanoids. The oldest living land animal is Jonathan, a giant tortoise who is 188 years old. Greenland sharks may be able to live up to 500 years, that's half a millennium. And then there's the immortal jellyfish. They age, reproduce, and then faced with the prospect of death, they instead decide to revert back to sexual immaturity and start all over again. And they don't just do it once, they can do it over and over and over again.
adventures take place on the world of Braxigantu, which is oddly like Scotland. It's a temperate, habitable world that's been terraformed to be that way. To be terraformed, a planet needs to be at the very least terrestrial, meaning rocky, and has to have roughly Earth-like gravity. Everything else can be changed, from the atmosphere to the water cycle to the climate, but you need to have a canvas to work on in the first place. Planets like this, however, are incredibly difficult to detect because they're so much smaller than other kinds of planets, like gas giants, and our detection techniques are biased towards those more massive planets. As such, we're only confident that we can see 31 terrestrial planets within 50 light years of our solar system. But data from NASA's Kepler mission indicates that there may be as many as 6 billion terrestrial planets in our galaxy, roughly 1 for every 5 sun-like stars. So there are potentially a lot of planets in our galaxy that we could terraform, maybe to look a bit like Scotland.
So, our intrepid gang had stowed away on a truck, heading towards the mine where they were going to investigate the scene of this mysterious smuggling. As they watched the forest whip past them, Infinity saw a shadow in the sky. The shadow got bigger and bigger and bigger until it's clearly something that they'd never seen before. As they were watching it, a head poked up from the cab, and a figure said, "Before we deal with you, we better deal with this." And that is where we left off, speeding through the forest, the trees zooming, flying past you, branches clattering over the top of the truck, jiggling up and down over the rough, uneven road, and this huge silhouette coming closer and closer towards you.
How big is the Boyd, or the flying creature with the saying bird?
Roll a perception check.
With pleasure. Oh! God, this whole correlation between chest hair and rolling is very true.
Bake it up. Take your shirt off.
No, wait, save it for the important moment.
Perception, that's a 20, artificial 20.
You look
Another
up,
one.
Yeah.
and Uriel, you are practiced at calculating the size of large flying objects. Something that you do often. You look up, you compare it to the vehicles that you've seen, and instantly your brain pops out a number. This thing is maybe 250 feet wide. Vast wingspan.
What?
Sorry. Wait,
250 feet.
Like 80 meters.
How much is that compared to like a house?
How big's your house? I would say
Several.
That's just a good point. I don't know. How big is it in terms of a football pitch?
That sounds about the size of a
not
jumbo jet.
football pitch.
Yes, I would say it's about the size of a 747. That would be a good analogy.
I need to close my window. I've just realised. I was trying to cool the room off.
The optimum football field, I googled soccer to make sure we got the right one, is 360 feet long. So it's almost as long as a football field.
Size of a plane. It's huge. I mean, that is ridiculously huge.
It is coming at you.
Is this individual in front of me still pointing a gun at me? Or as they've said that, are they kind of looking like they're going to focus elsewhere?
As they say that, they pull themselves up onto the top. And they hold out their hand. Get up here! We're going to sort whatever this is out later. Now, look, you! And then, as they pull you up, they look down into the cargo. And you know what? It's a good thing you got friends. Come on, all of you, get up here, get up here!
I'll climb the ladder.
This is great.
Hello.
On top,
Hi.
you see, as you're jolting along through the track, catching hold of the top of the cab to try and keep your balance, you see a woman wearing heavy goth makeup. Her hair stuck up all over the place. It's stuck out, looks like it's been gelled or stuck there in some place. The left half of her body is completely splintered with small metal rods. It's almost like a scaffolding that runs around her left-hand side, but it's movable. So as she can move her limbs, and the scaffolding moves with her. Off the scaffolding hang little tiny bits of tools, little magnetic things, chains attached to it, and a lot of kind of jewelry, strange-looking symbols and little artifacts and stuff. She moves quite stiffly. but she's grabbing hard on top of the cab. She looks you up and down, and she cracks a massive smile. You know what? I don't think I've ever been as glad to see another few floaters in town. Now look, do any of you have anything that could deal with something like that?
I don't think so.
No, I don't think so.
Nothing at all. Fat lot of good you lot are. And she reaches
We're not a
over.
typical D&D party, I must say.
She reaches over to this mounted gun turret. Right, well, I need one of you to help me with this. The other two of you, if you're as useless as you say, get in the cab.
I'll give you a hand with the machine.
Please be careful.
Uriel, you follow this woman and she starts unlocking different parts of the machine, pulling bits down, and starts unfolding what looks to be a long, flat plate with a groove in the centre of it. Around the edges of the plate, you see her pull out boxes, and as she flicks them each on, you hear a hum. You get closer to it to look and see what it is. Whoa! Don't go near that, my friend. I see you're not entirely human as well. And she taps the metal parts of your arm. You get anywhere near that, this thing's gonna fling you right up into the sky. Do not touch those bits. And she points down at the roof of the cab where are strapped various pieces of old scrap, essentially, is what it looks like. There's an old piston, there's a bit of what looks like a prosthetic leg, there's a shard of old rusty metal, all attached to the top of the cab. That is what we put in this. Yeah, go ahead.
No. Sorry, I was going to be out of character anyway, so carry on.
As that is happening, she points to you two, Tenebris and Infinity. Go on! If you're not going to help up here, get down in there! And points to the cab.
Tenebris, you should go.
But then you go first.
I might be able to help if anyone gets hurt.
Can I look at the route to get to the cab? Is there anywhere, like, if I start climbing down towards the cab, could I stop halfway such that I wouldn't be visible to the people on top or the person driving? Or is it just like literally right there?
You can absolutely try. It is what you see as you inch your way over and look down, craning your neck over, is a series of rungs welded onto the side of the cab. The door begins about a metre below you, so they're roughly a metre along the top of the cab, along the side of the cab before you would start reaching the door and the windows there.
Okay, that's fine. In that case, I'm going to carefully, clinging to these bits of metal on the side of this rumbling, moving truck, climb down. Can I sort of lean down to the window before I get there and see who's in there?
You are holding onto the rungs on the side of a truck, attempting to hold yourself in place as the truck jiggles and smashes around as the wind whips past you and the occasional bit of branch and leaf just catches you on the shoulder. Roll an athletics check for me.
No.
Well, this went well before, so I can only
Which means it will go well this time. That's statistics.
It didn't go well before, Simon.
Yes.
Yeah, but statistically, it...
Oh, okay. 13.
Over 10.
You hug yourself the knowledge that the last time you tried to do anything like this, it went awfully. The fear, the adrenaline coursing through your system. Your knuckles whiten on the rungs, and you hold yourself in and keep yourself attached to the side, and although you feel yourself being dragged away, you grip on. And you look inside the cab. What you see in there is the first thing you see is a glittering orange mohawk. The window is chipped, scarred. It's actually quite difficult to see things, but that's the first thing you make out. Hair in this massive mohawk, glittering orange. As you peer in closer, roll me a perception check.
Is it still at disadvantage because it is still bright here?
Absolutely.
5.
Jiggling around, being thrown all over the place. It's very difficult to see through the scarred pane of this reinforced glass. You see the mohawk, there's a shadow of a face underneath it, and almost a figure you can make out crouched over something, but that's it. Infinity, what are you doing while this is happening?
I'm gonna stay up the top, behind the gun. Well, the thing.
The woman turns around, looks at you, and smiles another huge smile. Ah, so you're in it for the top, are you? Always good to have another hand. Let's see if you can find something. It's gonna make a difference, eh? And as that happens, you hear coming from above and behind you. Tenebris,
This is
you're
terrifying.
going to do something?
Look for a door handle or a hole. The window's closed. How do I get in?
There is a door handle. It's
good.
easy to see.
Oh, good. Phew.
You're just screaming
I'm
on the
gonna-
side of the truck. Ah! It's right next to you.
Okay, one hand on the rungs, the other hand opening the door.
Yes, with the athletics roll that you
I'm
already
ready.
made, you can do that. You manage to force the door open and just tumble in onto the floor of the cab.
Hello.
The first thing...
I don't want to be rude.
It's a fantastic entrance. You are on the floor of the cab. In front of you, you can see 3 huge pedals. And on top of those pedals, a small, but very...
But also massive.
Heavy.
Let me just... Let me just explain.
It's small, but it has great density.
Yes,
It is a black leather boot with silver buckles on it. The boot itself is quite slim. The sole of the boot is massive. It's a good half a foot lift there. And that is crushed into what you assume is the accelerator.
Okay.
You look up. Attached to the boot, you see a leg. And attached to the leg, a body, and on top of that, the glittering orange mohawk. Hunched over a huge steering wheel. They look down, see you there. You wave?
I just give him, after my hello, I'm just like, give him a little wave.
And they smile. And what you see, instead of teeth, saw blades stuck around the inside of the mouth.
Ali, can you come up with a character that isn't horrifying for once?
This one's
This
great.
person is gaunt. They're beautiful. And they look down at you and say, "Help you will. Very, very glad." And put down a hand to lift you up. You take it and are pulled up onto the passenger seat. Right. At this stage, we have 3. Each of the party are in a different location. We will go through each person in order to work out what you do at each stage of this terrifying truck ride.
Right
I'm
from
glad to
hell.
be on the inside of the truck.
I thought for some reason that'd be like, oh great, character development. We could sit in the bed of the truck and talk.
Have a chat, get
Yeah, I
to
thought
know
there was
each other
gonna be some
again.
conversation. No,
Pow! Dragon
giant
attack!
bird.
So, the first thing that happens... You don't hear anything. The strangest part of this is this huge shadow, this vast creature appears to move with almost complete silence. It glides through the air, and it drops down, so it's just scudding over the tops of the trees. These trees are tall, very, very tall, so it's still a fair distance away from you. But it looks down, and you can see its yellow eyes lock on to the truck. Uriel, you first. What would you like to do?
So is there like a seat for this weapon? Is this on like a pintle? How is it attached? Kind of thing?
The weapon, now that it has been created, is, as you saw before, a flat plate. So a sort of, yeah, exactly, like a flat plate which is angled upwards. Within that plate there is a trench, and then around the sides of the plate, moving all the way up the length of it, are these strange boxes that are humming. At the bottom, there appears to be a sort of loading box. Underneath that, there is a stool and 2 handles. As you take all this in, the woman next to you turns and says, "You ever used one of these?"
Can't say I have.
You know what? Me neither.
Oh, good.
Let's go.
How do you fancy your chances?
I'll shoot, you load.
Excellent. That's what I like to hear. And they lean down and start busying themselves, pulling out one of these strange bits of twisted old metal and loading it into the loading bay. Right, you are sat on the stool. You reach out, touch the handles. As you pull to either side, you hear... And the turret turns quite slowly in which direction you pull it. On top of the levers is one big red button.
Oh. I'm just gonna go out there and say this right now. The temptation to put myself in the rut and fire myself like a magic missile.
I'm already there. Like,
I'm not gonna do it because it would be character suicide, but my god, I want to.
I really, really want to.
Right.
She'd be a shooting star. Like.
So I'm gonna mount up. I'm gonna try and pull the gun around and point it at the large bird. We can't keep calling it Big Bird. I feel like we need to have a name for this thing.
For this...
What colour is the bird, actually? Because now it's closer. Can we see what colour it is?
Roll a perception check.
Perceptions. Oh, God. I can never find this. Yeah, 12.
You see... As it has scudded down low over the tree line, and it's not just a silhouette anymore, you can see the yellow of the beak. You can see the kind of darker browny red of the talons, and also the brown feathers which surround it, not unlike an eagle, much like that. The one difference that you can make out, streaking across it, are lines of what seem to be a sort of dull metallic grey.
I aim the weapon at it regardless of what colour it is.
To aim this weapon, I think we're going to need a dexterity check. Just straight dexterity.
Coming up, for podcast listeners, I've done up a bunch of buttons. Let's see if this affects the roll.
Why have you done that?
I want to see. I want to test. This is what science is about.
Bad test.
I need to undo all the buttons.
Take your shirt off immediately.
That was an 8.
Okay, actually, don't.
You line it up as best you can as the trees past you, leaves fluttering around them. You're pretty sure that you've got a good lock on it. So, yes, you are sat there, and as you can see, you're locked on. Let's go to infinity.
Is there something I can pass to the person who's going to load it. Because right now there's not a lot I can do with it being that far away.
You can offer to help, yes?
Yeah. I'll offer to help, and I will also, just in case, bonus action cast Shillelagh. Just in case it gets super close. Or this person decides to be it.
The metallic roots, the tendrils, they snake out of your arm, and your right arm becomes this knobbled club with the striations of bark around it that you saw when when the person attacked you last night. So with your left hand, you could offer assistance to the general shooting process, and that would help Uriel.
I would like to do that. Yeah.
Okay. Good to know. Tenebris, as you pulled up onto the seat, you're looking out of this windscreen. It is again scarred, marked, scored, cracked. It's very difficult to see through. You can make out the road towards you, and you can see the person next to you concentrating furiously, their face pushed as close to the glass as they can get. And you see them reach down, do some sort of gear change, and the truck starts to speed up. At this point, you hear a boom, boom. And the figure looks over to you. Their eyes widen.
You broke truck!
I hope you drive, because me, I gotta say goodbye. They push open the door and crawl out of the door on the other side of the truck, down the side of the cab.
What, like Spider-Man crawl?
Yes.
Cool. I love it. I love it greatly.
Every part of this interaction is horrifying.
I love it!
Even the people on our side are fucking horrifying.
Temporarily on our side.
They're only just on
by
our side.
virtue of Giant Bird. Tenebris sits just frozen watching this person having exited the vehicle before coming to her senses and just like leaping across the cabin to grab the... Is that steering wheel?
It is. There is a huge steering wheel in front of you. To the left of you, a massive gear lever, and then these 3 massive pedals. It's essentially a car setup. I've described a car.
Was this person about my height?
Yes.
Cool. So can I please jam my foot on the pedal that they were jamming their foot on?
Well, you don't have these massive wedge boots,
Oh no!
but
Oh god.
you can if you stand
God.
up.
Yeah.
If you physically stand on the pedals, you can
Yeah.
just about hold onto the
Okay.
steering wheel and see over the top
and
of it
see.
like that.
Okay, I shall do that. Yep, perfect.
As you stand on the accelerator, the truck starts to accelerate, moving.
God.
You mistakenly lean on the center of the wheel. The horn goes off.
Nebris,
Now.
are you okay?
Tenebris, yeah!
Can't hear that. There's a freaking truck happening.
As you speed up, you see in front of you what looks like mud in the road. You have a second to react. What are you going to do?
I'm going to maintain speed.
Maintain speed. Make a dexterity check. But before you do, let me explain why you have to make a dexterity check.
If you like.
As the wheels pass over this slick mud patch, you feel you're losing steerage. There's a slickness to the wheels, and you're not quite gripping the road as you should. You're almost entering a skid. Now roll your dexterity check.
Oh boy. 5. It's not my. Don't have any buttons.
I was gonna say, you do some buttons.
I
have
As
a safety pin here. I could.
as you watch, you're craning up against the visor. As you're trying to work out exactly how you're going to maintain a straight path, you slip and you drag down on one side of the wheel. The truck starts to skid
That's not good at
to
all.
one side. You're still heading in the same direction, but you're slightly side on now as you slide across this muddy patch. You've lost traction. Right, back to Uriel. But before we get to Uriel, and the wings of this huge bird together around the body, it forms like a huge raindrop and plummets towards the back of the truck. There's a deafening and you see claws rake across the metal of the flatbed. The truck, skidding already, starts to move almost side on as the bird pulls its massive claws along the metal with it. And then, as it's doing that, it pulls out its wings and flies back up over the treetop line. As it's doing that, Uriel, would you like to do anything?
I'd like to fire the ballista railgun, whatever we're calling it, at it.
The prosthetic leg of some unfortunate person flies to the right of this bird, completely missing it. As the bird starts to take off again, you might have a chance to fire again if you like.
How many... Are we at danger of running out of ammunition?
No, there's all sorts of rubbish on this.
Right, load me up again!
At this point, we'll say that you and your new friend and Infinity are all working together on this thing. So we'll say that you load it fine. If you would like to take another shot, you can do so with advantage. Unless, Infinity, you have something else you want to add.
Yeah, potentially. How close is it now?
At the point where it's raking along the top of the truck itself is maybe 30 feet long maximum, but in the flight path, it goes maybe 5 feet away from you.
Cool. Can I, as it gets super close, just turn and cast Thunder Wave? Which is I haven't scienced it at all. Don't make me.
Sounds like a chat of opportunity.
No, don't you dare! I swear to God, I didn't have that.
Wait, are you planning to electrocute a bird that's not connected to the ground?
Thunder Wave, so it's force, so it's basically like a shockwave coming out. And it's a 15-foot cube out from me, but like straight out in front. So I want to turn so the other two are behind me, and then just aim it at the bird. And it has to make a Constitution save.
A chat of opportunity, not about how you do it, but rather just about the dynamics of thunder, the thunder allocation of energy in D&D, right? Like a thunder type spell.
Yeah, definitely.
I had imagined that when it says thunder, it essentially means sound, right? Also, I just want to check, while we're out of game, how is the music level for everyone? Is it too much?
I liked it.
Sounds good
We're
to
good?
me.
Okay, brilliant. I had envisaged it, if it's sound, which it is, right? It's a thunderclap. It's what it is in D&D.
Yeah, that makes sense for force damage as well.
Sound is vibration, essentially, isn't it?
Yep.
So I had imagined that any kind of thunder... Sorry?
It's actually thunder. It's thunder damage.
Thunder damage.
But the thunder damage, that's sound, isn't it?
Yeah.
I had envisaged it, if you were going to actually talk about the science of it, you basically need a huge speaker cone that went and created vibrations of such strength in the air that they could do physical damage.
Well, it could be moving. I'm just trying to think if there might be something fancy. In the last DnDebrief, we talked a bit about the mantis shrimp, about how it accomplishes damage. But admittedly, that's in a much denser medium. But I don't know if there'd be something similar where you could create, I don't know, similar to, like a bolt of lightning rapidly ionizes the air around it, and that immediate change is what causes the thunderclap. Because it's just a breaking sound wave. It's going faster than the speed of light, speed of sound. So perhaps there's something you could do like that rather than a mechanical motion. It could be some kind of really rapid ionization, or I don't know, something similar.
Isn't that because you're ionizing something, so you're heating it up, so you're getting very, very fast expansion, which is essentially what you're getting from a speaker cone? It's just very fast.
Yeah, but you're not mechanically moving a component in doing that. From an engineering perspective, you know, you are.
And then you can do it from a single point outwards rather than a speaker. Presumably
yes, it wouldn't be directional, would it?
Flat.
Yeah. Unless you had some kind of waveguide built into it.
Bates, I can't hear you.
Oh no, I was mouthing.
I was making no sound.
I was basically talking to myself.
Anyway, okay, well maybe we could talk about that at the end or something.
Yeah.
But yeah, anyway, but just in general, if thunder damage happens, it's vibrate. We consider it like you're being vibrated to the point that it damages you physically.
Yeah. Lovely.
Yeah. Awesome. Now, so
Underway.
back here we are. The wind whipping past you. The truck sickeningly slaloming along this road. The sound, and then this huge shadow, and the scream. You instantly you dent the roof of the cab below you, and you knock over. Well, let me just check actually.
I did specify it's a 15-foot cube straight out from me, and I faced the bird away from the people behind me, the gun and the thing.
I understood Thunderwave to be all out from all of you, like it's directional wave.
Oh, it could be. I've never done it like that. If it is, I wouldn't have done it. So
Right, okay.
Does it say 15-foot cube?
It says a wave of thunderous force sweeps out from you. And so I've played.
Does it say 15-foot cube centered on you?
Originating from you.
Yeah, that's
Well,
ambiguous.
if we
say
do,
it originates from here, or you could say it originates and goes all the way out. So I totally, either way.
if we're doing the speaker, then you can choose the direction. If we're doing the flash, then you can't.
Hey, it's the speaker, everyone.
You have to justify this later, remember?
That's
As in,
fine.
you have to explain it later.
As long as you're ready to explain, I'm happy to go with it.
Not yet, but maybe
Yeah.
DnDebrief.
All right, good. Okay, brilliant.
Nice.
Infinity, you kneel down. You draw in your focus. You lift yourself up, and you pull your hands and your arms back flat with your chest to form a flat plate in front of you. You turn your head slightly to the side, and you vibrate at such intense speed that you send a shockwave out from before you towards this huge bird. What does it have to roll to hit, or is it a saving throw?
No, it's a saving throw. Constitution saving throw.
All right. What am I trying to make?
14.
Oh, that's a natural 9, which brings it to 14. That's a save.
It's fine. It takes half damage, but it's not pushed away.
Okay, it takes half damage. How much is that?
That is. Oh, that's good. Oh, I rolled well, so it's 7 damage. That's halved already.
7
So
damage.
It would have been 14, but
You see no physical change on the bird. It doesn't look like whatever damage it did is very obvious. But what you do see is the bird almost pulls back a little bit, and its eyes flick down towards you as it starts to arc its way back up into the sky. You certainly got its attention.
great. That was maybe a mistake.
Tenebris, you are skidding along the ground. As the mud starts to leave the underside of your wheels, you start to gain more traction back on the steering wheel. Roll another dexterity check for me.
Oh my gosh. 14.
14. With a 14, you manage to wrestle the steering wheel back, and because you're not using strength, it's more dexterity. You're feeling the way that the wheels are locking with the ground. You're trying to just inch it back, and you swerve, and you catch the edge of the trees. You're tearing the bark off the sides of the trees as you bring it back towards the center of the road. In front of you, you see a fork. One side is wider. The other is narrower. You have a moment before you get there. When I say a moment, you have seconds. You know, could be depending on how fast you go. You have some time.
Are the trees narrower as well?
Nope, the trees are the same size.
So the narrower route wouldn't make it any more difficult for the bird to get down, because the trees don't.
Sorry, no, the tree trunks are the same width. The trees are closer together, so
Sorry, yes,
the road itself is narrower. Yes.
On the narrower path.
It's a bold choice, Cotton. Let's see how it plays out for us.
Right.
I look, my instinct is to find shelter and to be under things and to be not exposed to the horrific and horrid sky. This is not what it is where I am from, and I do not like it.
Easily done. You head towards the narrower path. Unless you tell me otherwise, I'm going to assume that you are going fast.
Until I see something that's going to make it, harder to steer. But for now, yes, I can steer through this, yes.
I think that's good though. It might be harder for the bird to attack.
That's what I was hoping. We'll see.
Let's be clear, the narrowness of the path will make it harder to steer.
Yes, it will, yes. But, I'm still going fast. I'm not going to slow down for it.
Alrighty.
It would win one Tenebris driving or one Flappy Boy.
The truck. On top of the truck, Uriel and Infinity and your new friend hugging this weapon as it bounces and sways to either side as you suddenly disappear down this narrow path. The trees much, much closer to you. You can almost feel them whipping past your face. The boughs are much lower here. There's leaves catching you in the face. And your new friend, she turns to you, Infinity, and says, "Wait a second. Did she take the right fork?"
Yes, I do believe we went right.
Well, we don't know. I mean, which one was the correct fork?
Infinity looks at Uriel like, now is not the time.
Infinity, as you look at Uriel, you realise your new friend is no longer there. She is disappearing down the steps towards the cab.
Good.
Above you, scudding low over the tops of the trees, their wingspan almost blotting out the sun. There's a shadow falling over the truck. You can hear the tops of the trees are starting to be battered. It's getting closer and closer, and you see as it's shifting from side to side, its head alternating one way to look down and then tilting its head the other way so that its eyes can catch you as it tries to catch sight of the truck moving between the trees. You watch as it pulls in its wings and drops again. The claws land on the back of the truck and grab hold, and it flattens itself against the top of the flatbed. It is now gripping on to the flatbed, its wings hugged into itself, the beak still raised above you.
But it's so big.
I'm firing the ballista at its head.
You can do that with advantage if
I would
Infinity.
absolutely help now. Yeah.
This will be your turn if you want it to be.
I will absolutely 100% help Uriel load and aim the ballista.
All right, Uriel, make a dexterity check.
Right, we are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 undone. So this should be like a 40 or something.
But before you do this, which are you aiming at any specific part of the bird?
So you said that the head was kind of like craning up, and like everything else was flattened, and it was like the head sounded like it was coming in like an attack kind of pose.
Its beak is lifted up over the top of the cab, yes.
Yeah, so I want to aim for the head, basically.
Right. And any particular part of the head?
I mean, can I just see the beak? Can I see anything else?
No, the head. So what the bird is doing. So this would be a chance of opportunity, but to be discussed later. Birds have eyes on the side of their head often, unless they're massive raptors, right? So raptors would have eyes in the front of their head so that they could do long distance. Distance.
Raptor.
It's depth perception. Yeah.
Yes, that's it. Thank you. This bird does not appear to have great depth perception. Its eyes are on the side of its head, so when it wants to look at you, it goes and cranes and tilts its head to the left to look down at you. So what it's doing is it's tilting its head to the left and to the right to angle its eyes towards you to see you.
So I'm going to aim for the eye, then, if I can see an eye.
That will be a harder DC, because it's flicking its head back and forth.
Did you miss the part where I'd undone 5 of my buttons? I think we'll be fine.
Yeah. Maybe make another one, Simon, just to be safe.
So because Emily's helping, was that with advantage or is it just straight dex?
That's advantage.
So with advantage on a dex roll.
You got this.
How does this keep happening? That's a 22 to begin with. Yeah, 22.
20.
The buttons!
It's
The buttons!
I was an
I have no
unbeliever,
buttons.
and now I realise.
Cast her out! A button non-believer. A zip heretic.
Thin out the dress.
Uriel, you pull back on the handles, and you feel the whole setup catch in place. It's not moving, it's not responding to your commands. And then it strikes you. You reach down to your neck. You pull out the perfect key. You slot it in, loosen.
The machine is with me.
Perfectly done. You are essentially lying flat on the top of the cab with this Gorse gun, which is what it is, this massive cannon, directly pointing up as the bird's head flicks to the side, and you see this golden eye with a slit-like pupil. There's a blink as the whites of the bird's pupil cover it and open again, and you see the slit contract, and at that moment you loose what is essentially a jagged piece of plate armor. The bird spirals, topples off the back of the truck. Onto the road behind. And as you through the narrow pathways, it disappears. You lose sight of it. Tenebris, as you're driving, the door of the cab opens. The woman looks at you.
I'm driving now.
She runs her hand through her spiky hair.
You're
Well,
better.
that explains a lot then. And she clambers towards you, pushes your feet off the pedals, and says, "Do you mind if I?" And then gets down and starts working the pedals with her hands.
Oh, I still steer? Okay, no problem. I'm great at this. It's fine.
The tight space between the trees, it's twisting and winding around you, and you realise as you're driving through, you feel like you're starting to get the hang of this huge wheel. As you're moving through this twisted, narrow pathway, it strikes you that you're starting to go downwards. That you're
like
on
that.
the edge of a hill.
That was good.
What would you like to do? The path in front of you, it's very difficult to see far down it because it keeps turning and twisting with these trees. The trees are still huge, these massive, columnar, towering entities. And the steepness of the hill is gradually increasing.
I will look out the front. And say, I don't see Big Bird!
Right.
To the lady.
To the lady at the pedals.
Yeah, down there, yeah.
Are you sure?
No!
Alright! And she pushes the accelerator harder.
Can we hide somewhere from Bird?
I'm not steering this thing!
Gonna keep going,
Alright.
I think. Until, if it starts... Is it feeling dangerously steep? Like, we need to slow down? One kind of...
Oh, it is.
Go.
It is getting steep.
Okay, I will say, but okay, maybe slow down little and hope that Uriel shoot Bird.
You see her push down on the brake. I think this is as slow as we get from now on. And you careen between the trees. At this point, I want to ask you. You can make a dexterity check to try and steer your way between the trees as they come up, or you can make an intelligence check to see if you can plot a route like a rally driver, which will require less dexterity.
I think my dex is better. Let me check. Yes, my dex is much better, so we're gonna be doing no advanced planning, just wildly swerving.
Let's go.
Yes. Please.
No,
Yes,
he's just
well
judging.
Please,
What's that on that face
please.
means? Oh, you want me to do it? Right.
I want you to roll dexterity check.
Oh, synthetic 20.
Oh, there's a lot of them going around.
Did you undo a button somewhere, Shamini? That's
Your face is pressed up against the window screen. The goggles are attached to it. You are squinting, trying desperately to make out the trees as they past you. Thankfully, because of the tightness of the road, there's shadow over it, so you can see at last. The blinding sunshine is out of your gaze. You're taking in deep, deep breaths of this horrid fug, this steam. You occasionally like, as you lean mistakenly, pressing up against, and you see the trees coming towards you. You realize that to get the maximum control of this truck, you're going to have to ride the wheel, as you would ride a surfboard. That's how you're going to do it.
That works.
You stand up, 2 feet on the bottom of the wheel, one hand on each side, face pressed against the glass.
Yes! What am I? Wait, if I'm just on the wheel, do I just turn it by shifting my weight slightly?
That is exactly what you
Okay,
do.
great,
With a
okay.
synthetic 20 on dexterity,
Okay.
that is well
I
within your
love it.
bailiwick.
I love it. I love my baby.
absolutely to never see the day out. It's so good.
Vitruvian woman.
By the side of the road, a hare sits. It holds a bit of grass in its...
It's fine, right? The hair was fine, right?
It stares past at the dust kicked up behind it.
I'm writing hair on list of animals.
Then
You seen it? Wait, did Infinity see the hair?
Infinity see
Or
it.
was that a cutscene?
Roll a
where
perception
The audience
check.
saw the hair, and then the hair saw
That
the
was
truck.
B-roll. That was shot by the second unit.
15,
Yeah.
you absolutely did not see that. A hare from on top as you've been low. As the dust settles,
Rat and roach it is.
the hare looks up into the sky. Uriel and Infinity, you are slaloming around on top of this cab through these trees. For a moment, it's not calm, but you don't appear to be in any immediate bird-based danger. Is there anything you'd like to do?
I think
Right,
I'm scared.
Let's reload this just in case it comes back.
Okay, yeah. Oh, hand a bit of metal over.
Like a leg.
Not a leg, no.
Yeah, no, I want
Okay.
to punch this thing right in the eye.
Yeah.
In the other eye.
Turn it into a fist and.
Yeah, you're like.
Excellent. Reloaded without issue, although, to be fair, that was not easy because you're on the top of a truck that's moving incredibly fast through a very thin road. But at this
Steep
stage,
as well at this point.
given your experience, you managed to do that. No need to roll.
Also, just as I guess, kind of a point of order, this came up last time and it was discussed in the Discord, but it is Gauss rather than Gorse.
Yes, I keep saying Gorse, I'm sorry. It's because I read a sci-fi book when I was a teenager which had a lot of Gorse guns in it, and I always just thought, Gorse, that must be AU, that's how it said. And so, even though I know it's Gauss, because he did the freaking curve, right? Like, I just...
Gauss, he
Always say
did the
Gorse.
freaking curve. I mean, that's so broadly applicable.
The distribution, his distribution, he did it, right?
Wait, did he invent a gun too? Is it the same one?
Yeah.
I actually don't know if it's the same Gauss, but I assume it is, right? How many Gausses are there?
I believe it's called
Maybe not.
I believe it's called a Gaussian gun because one of the laws of electromagnetism is the Gaussian law of the field around a charge.
He didn't also invent the gun.
This
I
is
don't
a
believe-
brilliant a chat of
That's
opportunity.
great, yeah.
You've slipped into a chat of opportunity without even sounding the klaxon. Amazing.
At least I mean, I'm pretty sure that Carl Friedrich Gauss did not invent a railgun. Like,
He might have done.
How sure are you?
Willing to bet on it.
hang on, how sure am I? Wait, give me a sec.
No.
Quite sure, actually.
I'm just going to roll it.
I love
My
it.
science
insight
check
on
there
it.
was quite good.
I love it.
But yeah, it's probably
Right.
from the Gaussian law. That's why it's called that.
We'll let you know for certain in the next DnDebrief.
Yeah,
Um,
science check.
Infinity, would you like to prep anything as you slalom through this thin forest path?
I don't really have anything I can do, so no, I would just like to hold on and try and not fall off.
Very well. Tenebris.
Oh, dear.
Suddenly, the path opens out again. You're back on the road, the main road. It's
Oh,
wide,
goodness. Oh, thank goodness. Oh.
and around you, you can see that the trees are starting to thin. And that where you've just gone down, you're now starting to go up again, incline, upwards. The trees start to thin. They're a little bit different. Roll me a perception check. At disadvantage, because you are not good in sunlight.
Ooh, that was a 12.
With that, you can see that the type of tree is starting to change. Whereas before they were these huge, towering, very, very tall, often fir trees, but also broadleaf trees. Now they're becoming a little bit shorter, still wide, but gnarled. And on the road in front of you, you can see pine needles carpeting it. What you also notice is that the road is no longer quite so well maintained. Boulders stick up around, and at the speed you're going, you only see it at the last minute. What you thought was just a rise turns out to be a jagged rock, and you feel the bed of the truck start to vibrate and judder. From your feet, you hear a sound. Oh, you done it now! That's the axles! There's nothing I could do. Get one of your friends to go sort it for God's sakes, or we're just gonna slow down and stop!
Can you give a shout out to Ali's neighbours, by the way? I feel like they're going to have questions after this episode.
Interesting. I will yell, "Can you steer?" While still
There's-
on the steering wheel.
A momentary pause. No!
Okay, in that case, I will be like, okay, Yadiel! And just yell out of the window.
Can I hear?
guess.
Uriel, make a perception check.
Come on, baby. It doesn't work for perception checks, guys. That's a 6.
Aww.
You hear nothing. Except you feel the vibrations of the truck. Something feels different, and especially to you, attuned as you are in metal work and the understanding of metal, you know that something has changed.
Wait a minute. Something's changed. Sorry. Just to act that out, you know.
I appreciated that. Okay, help me get into the character. You need to go. I can man the gun.
Do you hear that? Did Infinity hear it?
Oh, that's a good point.
Infinity, roll perception.
9, probably not.
Oh,
I have a
man!
perception of 16. But...
Wait a minute. Something's wrong. Is there like an obvious way down to like some kind of engineering bit? Like, where has the other guy gone?
They're in
There's
the cab.
2 questions there.
You didn't know.
Who is the other guy that you're talking about?
The
Mohawk.
yeah,
The god lady.
Mohawk person.
You never even saw that person. You don't
Oh
know
yes,
they
true.
exist.
But yeah, can I see any way down to like some kind of maintenance bit?
Roll an investigation check. So you hop out of the from underneath the gun and you crawl along the top and you look down between the cab and the flatbed itself, and you see a nest of cables, huge thick wires, and but down underneath it all, you can see the ground passing underneath. So you could make it through, but make an investigation check to see if you could work out a way to get down.
I don't think I would. That's a 6.
You do not know. You don't know.
Bloody hell. So I invest that was sort of the coupling bit in the middle, correct? Like not on the side, but directly underneath.
That is between the cab and the flatbed.
Right.
There is a gap, which is full of these cables, and you can see all the way down and see that you can see the floor
Right, okay.
beneath it.
Can I look over the side and see if there's like rungs or something to get down?
You absolutely can. There are certainly rungs that Tenebris was using to get down to the cab.
Yeah, I'm gonna. I feel like Uriel's gonna wanna. Is sort of instinctively gonna know something mechanically is wrong and is drawn to trying to fix it. So you try and go down the ladder to investigate what's going on with everything.
All right. It is a bumpy ride now. The truck is now careening, and it's being lifted on side to side on these rocks. And with the juddering coming from whatever's happened beneath the truck, this is not an easy climb. So roll me an athletics check.
Athletics, come on. Oh, that's cocked somehow. Had to run out at some point. That's a 5.
We stood all up
Done
too early.
You shift yourself over, grab onto the first rung. You know you can do this. Foot down, head down, foot out to the next rung. There's nothing there. You slip, you're holding on with your hands, and then a branch catches you in the side of your torso, knocking you off the railings. You're tumbling now. Now you are a monk, so I will say, roll a dexterity check.
Check or saving throw?
Save it. Saving throw.
Totally a save.
Right.
That's fair.
More points.
Okay, that is a 7.
What? How?
You reach out to grasp anything on the truck, any sort of handhold. Your hands scrape along the side. Suddenly air, and then you hit the rubber of one of the wheels, and it flings you backwards
Christ.
onto the road.
Oh,
You are now on the road, and the truck is moving rapidly away from you. Let's say you have chance for one reaction speed thing that you would like to do as you hit the dirt before the truck is gone.
As in, I can chase after it. I can grab hold of it. What do you mean in terms of what I'm allowed to do?
Well, you can do anything, right? Anything you would like to do at this stage. But if it's too complicated, like maybe form a lasso out of your belt, then that you probably couldn't do.
I feel like try and get to my feet and just
Shame.
lunge after. I imagine there's some kind of ladder on the back, like, or some kind of rung. I'm just going to lunge for it.
As this is happening, Infinity, you are sat on top of the cab. When Uriel went down, you heard a moment of silence and then... What would you like to do?
Oh, God.
I'm just going to shout, Tenebris! And I'm going to run, like, climb down the ladder to get to the back of the truck.
You're going to go into the flatbed? Or are you going to go down the side of the cab?
Okay, explain it to me. Oh no, I can't see over the top of the flatbed, can I? No, I'll go into the cab. Go down into the cab.
You will go down... Fine. Make an athletics check for me.
Oh, this is so bad.
So bad.
Non-natural 20.
Good.
With that, your friend's in danger. Inspired by the beauty of your surroundings. The incredible creature that you've just seen, but the knowledge that you must help. You grasp with unnatural machine strength and work your way down the outside of the van. You reach it at the point you are clinging onto the rungs as you see Uriel hit the earth next to the truck by the last set of wheels.
Okay. I'm just gonna go into the cab and go, you're gonna have to turn it around, we've lost Uriel.
I will just hear that and yell, stop the truck!
The truck skids to the side. You lose control of the back wheel. They carve an arc round, smash, knocking into boulders as they go careening round. Roll me a dexterity check to see if you can control this.
Natural 20 for 23.
Oh!
You surf your way to a stop, directly facing the opposite way that you were going. You see, out of the windscreen in front of you, squinting against the sun, a silhouette of Uriel picking himself up. And behind him, a huge shadow fall over the road.
Oh, God. Okay. And presumably this road isn't... Oh, no, this road is wide here. The road got wide.
Yes, the road is wide now. It's quite navigable, except for these rocks.
Is it wide enough for me to do a 180 turn in it while moving forward?
Are we going to have to Austin Powers this?
Yeah, yes. Basically, am I going to have to twiddle around and use my parallel parking skills to try and turn around in the other direction, or can I do a loop?
Turning. Beep, beep, beep.
Yeah.
With that dexterity roll, we'll call this all part of the same maneuver. You can skid yourself round and then engage the wheels. You tap on the head of the character beneath you. Alright, here we go! The wheels start to rotate and skid and the truck starts to turn its way back around again. You are currently turning the truck. As that happens, you see out of the corner of your eye an orange mohawk appear in the seat next to you and go, What? The what? The what?
I broke your truck! I'm so sorry!
Yes! And they disappear back down. Uriel, what would you like to do?
I'm going to sprint and jump on the truck.
Uh,
Guys! The bird!
yeah, you can definitely do that. It is... Where Infinity, was that hand motion that you just made there?
Sorry, that was me being like, I would totally hold my arm out and try and grab him if that like works in turn with his...
Yep, that's absolutely fine. With that, no need to roll an athletics check. The truck is moving very slowly. You can definitely make it up with Infinity's help. You are now both grabbing onto the rungs, and you hear...
I think we should get back onto the top again.
Yep.
You scurry up the side. Tenebris, you mash... Well, you don't. Your new partner mashes the accelerator. The wheels spin. The truck starts to pick up speed. Make a perception check for me, Tenebris. No. Not you. Uriel and Infinity, from the top of the truck, both make perception checks.
18.
10.
Right. Uriel, you reach the top of the truck, you look out. Behind you, the bird. But in front of you, you see a vast cliff rising up in front and out in the distance. What it is, the space between the trees, the end of the road, essentially. You can see where the tree line ends, and in front of it, the cliffs that mark the beginning of the McKinsey Mountains. And then you hear the screech again, bone shattering, the wail of this injured creature. And you hear as its wings get drawn in. Now,
I'm sweating.
I still have my wig on.
I'm so proud of you.
Oh, little faith.
Infinity and Uriel, you look up to see this creature diving towards you. How would you like to deal with this situation?
So are we we're on the top of the cab again, yeah?
Exactly right.
Gun?
Sorry?
The fist is still loaded into the gun. We didn't fire it.
Fist.
The gun is loaded, yes?
Do you want to fist this thing?
Sure, yeah.
I'm gonna sit in.
But once he aims it, I'm gonna whack my hand down on it.
Alright. Roll dexterity with advantage. Uriel, are you aiming for any particular part of the bird? It's coming at you face first, essentially.
I'm gonna aim down its throat.
Ooh.
As it screams, you aim for the back of its throat.
I cast
Roll.
fist. That's a good roll. That's a 22.
The noise that the gun makes is very subtle. It's more like a feeling for you, Uriel. Because what it essentially is it's a pulse of magnetic force. And it's momentary when it comes on, but it's incredibly powerful. So as you click the firing button, you feel a shock as all your metal components are momentarily sucked towards the barrel of the gun. And you see your makeshift ballista, essentially, arc up through the sky, bury itself deep in the throat of this creature. The wings come out. It tries to catch itself from its dive. The wings spread and catch the sides of the trees on the sides of the road. The tips of the wings catch the trees. You hear and then a crack. Another crack as the tips of the wings break. The wings themselves, they start to flap even more, but you can see that the tips of the wings have been disconnected from the rest of the wings. It's losing flight, and as the truck catches torsion in the ground, torque, and pulls away, the bird lists to one side and slams into the road behind you as you take off away from it.
Is everybody else feeling bad about the bird?
Really bad about the bird.
Yeah.
It did try and kill us.
Did it?
I mean, it tried to eat the truck
all it
we
ever
were on.
did was scratch and grab hold of the truck. It never actually attacked anyone. What the heck did it want?
I mean,
It wasn't going for us, it was going for the truck. What?
Yes, but I feel like if you're being attacked by a 747-sized bird that eats trucks,
So big.
we are like collateral damage that it would not even
that's
notice.
True. That's true. Yeah. I don't want it to eat our truck, and we would die. Thank you for
I feel a bit
saving us.
Infinity and Uriel, you are left alone on top of the cab, the wind whipping past you, the trees older now, gnarled, spaces between them, gaps opening up, you can see further, and you see the mountains rising above you. The wind has become chill, biting against your skin. You can almost taste frost in the air. Tenebris, in the cab, you don't know any of this has happened. You're still...
I don't taste the frost in the air. I can taste the exhaust and the vibrations.
Gunning your way between these rocks towards safety, you think, towards the mountains. Again, an orange glittering mohawk appears in the left of your vision. Take a chill pill! Take a chill pill, Phil!
Tenebris!
Tenebris!
Not Phil.
Not Phil, but chill. It's gone.
Bird gone?
Bird gone.
We can slow. Bird gone. We can go slow.
And the truck starts to slow down, reaching a more manageable pace, and you, all of you, you ride this scratched, dented, busted up, slowing down, axle broken truck slowly to a halt before some sort of, I know exactly what it is, before two rusted, welded gates. As the trees open out, it's a scree field in front of you. Before you, the road ends in these tall gates, much like the ones that you left the colony with. A wire fencing all around. Above it, leaning over, a crooked, sheer cliff, almost blocking out the sun now in the afternoon. And the wind biting around you. You look to your left, to your right, to see your new friends. They brake, they turn off the engine, and the one with the spiky hair and the scaffolding down her left side looks at you and goes, "Right, who are you?" And we'll leave it there.
Oh my goodness!
That was a lot.
What was that bird?
That was a lot.
That was a lot.
Size of a plane.
We have a lot to talk about in the DnDebrief.
The alley, the music change when we saw the cliffs was gorgeous.
That was so
Just
good.
it was just gorgeous. I just had chills. I was like, cliffs. I didn't know I was going to have an emotional reaction to the McKinsey Mountains, but damn, we're finally here.
Can I make a request that somebody in the community, this may be on Discord, makes a compilation of Ali's best sound effects from this episode? Because I want a 2-minute supercut of just
We're really good at them.
I would really like really fast cuts, like a second of each one. Ali, yeah, great job, Ali.
Screeching.
Oh, you guys did so awesomely!
did
I had no
awesome.
idea how that was going to shake out. Like, that was not easy.
I really
There
liked
was some-
how you
So
did it
good.
with like you didn't really do like hit points or initiative. Like it was just
Yeah, I
very
quite
much
liked
like
that,
this is
actually.
happening. Like go.
It felt very in the moment and felt pacier. I liked it. Very nice.
But you guys, like, I mean, there were some fierce rolls, but also, like, you dealt with it, right?
We dealt with it.
Yeah, no big deal.
Oh my god, when Uriel came off the back, I was like,
I thought you were gonna do it.
Yeah,
he falls off, but he has a chance to grab on.
When
He
it was
doesn't.
like-
He hits the ground, he's got a chance, he fails.
When it was like just him standing in this wide dusty road with the bird like behind it, like I can visualize that so well.
Yeah. Well, we also have we have a lot to talk about in the next DnDebrief, which we should point out isn't going to be next week because this lazy bum is going to be off on holiday. It's going to be it's going to be out in 2 weeks' time.
It's not. Well,
it's not. It's not.
We decided we were going to come straight back in with the next adventure episode.
Oh, we were skipping the DnDebrief
and sort of combo the DnDebrief, anything that comes off this episode and anything that comes up in the 2 weeks' time episode.
Right. Okay.
We'll combo them the week after that, so 3 weeks from now.
But well, in that episode, the three things that I noted down were the bird, kind of obviously. One aspect of it is its size. I actually did a video a while back on.
You did? Could these things even exist?
Yeah, on sort of bird.
I was 100% thinking of those. Does anyone remember what those giant pterosaurs are called? Like
Quetzalcoatlus.
Yes.
Those kind of things. The art, like the paleo art that I've seen of those on Twitter, is like gorgeous.
Because there was
the size of them is unbelievable.
They had a wingspan of something like 12 meters, I think. I want to say it was about that. And then there was the largest bird on record is Argentavis magnificens, which had a wingspan of like 4 meters or something.
Did it, however, have eyes on the side of its head?
Yeah, that's another thing I noted down.
What? Soon, like, it was so funny that as soon as like Ali's just describing it, turns to look at you, and all of us are going, "What does this mean? Biology."
I did see a lot of frowning at that point. I was like, surely this isn't the moment that people like. No.
That's what we were
there was
concerned
like
about.
I
It's
wasn't
not a
in science
matter.
mode at all. I was in full on D&D mode, and I was like, if it turns its head, are there like little people manning it in the eyes?
Oh, that's
I had like
wow.
all these little weird
Those
things.
silvery streaks. I want to propose as a future D&D brief topic whether Mr. Gauss did in fact ever invent a gun.
We have to answer that question. And we've got to wait 3 weeks for the answer.
Answering the real questions, you know.
and how Gauss guns work, because
Yeah, the whole thunder damage talk, I felt like we could have we could talk about a bit more as well.
Yeah.
Also, we do
more
have
there is.
Emily's overdue testicular pain talk.
God, genital pain.
Genital pain.
We all know Bates and genital pain, so
Pain.
yeah.
I'm an
I think
expert now.
we'll have too much. So yeah, maybe we'll have a few shorter ones or
Turn some into science checks. Or
or yes, science checks if there's not a lot in it, and or maybe we'll save it for future. But basically, lots of exciting science to talk about. So yeah, join us next time. We've got 2 weeks time. We've got more Dungeons and Dragons science adventures DM'd by Ali, mostly in game, in character. And then alternate Thursdays from then, we've got our D&D brief, which is like just all science all the time, in case things weren't nerdy enough for you.
And
already.
some stuff about that guy who was in George of the Jungle, Brendan Fraser.
Brendan Fraser.
it's
That guy
all
who was in
science.
George of the Jungle.
Except
Dare you?
except for the bits that are about Brendan Fraser.
If we meet an NPC that is just Brendan Fraser, I will lose. Like, when you're in the jungle and you meet this man who's mostly naked.
You're the one who's been unbuttoning shirt buttons
Yeah.
today. You're going to be chasing horses around any minute.
I don't make the rules, all right? I roll the dice better when the chest hair is out, and it doesn't help that it is
anyone listening to
31
the
degrees
podcast.
still.
For anyone listening to the podcast, Simon's chest has been getting more and more on display. So you know, check out the VOD.
Is it motivation to check it out on YouTube, or motivation not to?
To stay away. We've also so pretty much the entire episode we've had a lot of issues with the frame rate, which if you've made it this far you probably noticed. Not sure what the issue is there. You might be better off listening to the full episode on podcast rather than watching the video, because it is going to be choppy. Unfortunately, we can't do anything about that. Hopefully, in 2 weeks' time, we'll have a better time with it.
We'll be
Follow us
posting
on all our socials so you can find out when we're going live again, and see fun clips and memes and fun facts. I don't know, lots of stuff. We're RPGeeks, D&D, pretty much every day.
Yeah,
Yeah, and if anybody...
and sorry, just to follow up on that point, if you wanted to see the science checks in isolation, they are also uploaded as their own standalone videos on our YouTube page and also on our TikTok, because we are down with the children.
Yeah, we are.
Oh, the
On
children.
Instagram as well, once I get round to it.
Yeah, I'll be looking up TikTok this week, seeing what it is.
What is a TikTok?
Yes, I hope Google just Phil said, what is the TikTok? Yeah, lots of people have been asking
Right,
this
this is a
question.
very rambly end to the podcast, so we're going to call it. Thank you so much for listening / watching, everyone. We'll see you soon.
Bye for now.
Bye.